has gone. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepath because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic.
If your social security number ends in an odd number, you're out. If it ends in an even number, you're in. There's a 50% cut right there.
Welcome back to the channel. It's WIZSPEK, and I'm back at it again. In today's video, we'll be diving into some crazy TikToks that will make you question everything. And I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but ride with me. Let's get it.
Wake the the Nephilim still exist.
But this was one of the craziest videos of 2022 so far, bro. And they was grinding me up saying I look just like Bo, but I don't. Let's go! I'm telling y'all, the Nephilim roamed the earth, bro. They stuffed him. He's stuffed. They probably still live in remote places on earth.
I'm not sure what part of the world this is, but if this was a real giant that got petrified in place, I got a book of questions to ask.
If your social security number ends in an odd number, you're out. If it ends in an even number, you're in. There's a 50% cut right there. Of those who remain, if your social security number starts in an even number, you're in. And if it starts with an odd number, you're out. Boom. That's a 75% reduction. Then literally stochastically.
That has to be the most vague, but at the same time, the clearest statement ever. But if you know what he was talking about, drop in the comments.
And it's already started, y'all. Check this out. We're supposed to have a polar vortex where places like Florida, where I'm at, is supposed to get snow. I don't know, for the first time ever. Are y'all ready for that, Floridians? But check this out, y'all. This is in Rocky Mountain in Colorado. The river is literally frozen. Y'all see that? Has that ever happened before? So y'all know how we're going through a pole shift? Look at this in Russia, y'all. Look, they're having an ice tsunami. The water is moving slowly towards the shore. Check this out. Y'all see that? And it mirrors what the clouds be looking like. Look at this. So this polar vortex must be causing all kinds of anomalies with snow and ice, y'all. Because this is not the only place that this is happening to. This is happening in China too, y'all. Look at this. Wow, y'all see this? Why does it look like scales? Why does it look like, you know, why does it look like dragon scales, fish scales? Y'all see that? This is in China. This is happening all over. Wow. The way that the colors are just bouncing off that ice, this is incredible. So yes, y'all, are you guys ready for this polar vortex? It's so weird that all of this is happening and we are at the peak of solar maximum 2025, right? It makes you wonder, what's really going on, y'all?
With all this lakes freezing over, this is putting fishermen on a mandatory timeout. And I saw this forecast for Florida a couple weeks ago, and I'm still waiting on my chance to build a snowman.
Are those shooting stars?
What is it?
What are those?
Look up, everybody!
These might be flares from Elon's rocket taking part in a 100-mile relay race. This is probably where jetpacks and the hover cars and Men in Black got their inspiration from.
What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now aren't.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped.
This caller had so much passion in his delivery, I had no choice but to believe it.
Child support. Did you guys see what just tweeted? Apparently, from now on, any fathers that are currently on child support will get to claim their kid or children for tax season. It's no longer just the mom. And I'm actually very happy about that because I don't think that's fair. Like, you have either the mom or the dad on child support. They're giving you money all year long. So how is it fair that the other parent gets to claim the kid? Or when it's 50-50 and you guys both provide for your kid, how is it fair that one parent gets to take all of that income tax? I've never thought that that's like right, and I'm happy that he's gonna do that now from now on. And in my opinion, if the children are 50-50 with the parents, I think the income tax should be split if you guys are both providing all year long for your child for whatever they need. But as far as all the dads that are going to be able to claim their kids from now on, if they're paying all year, like, I think that's such a good idea and I'm here for it.
What is this place? This is creepy must watch.
I thought these were mini residential homes until I saw the bars on the window, but if this is meant for prisoners, they might be getting a one-star hotel treatment.
The film that you are about to see is jaw-dropping, and it was passed over by the New York Times. The New York Times had an opportunity to run this story, and they didn't. We're going to show you this unbelievable film in just a moment. But what's more astonishing, however, might be the cover-up and the secrecy of this top-secret film. My guest today is Jon Stewart, former candidate for Illinois governor and U.S. Congress. He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top secret film, which we're about to show you, and which you are about to see. And it purportedly shows an alien, an extraterrestrial, biological entity being interrogated at the S2 facility in 1997 by members of the U.S. military. Yes, an alien creature being interrogated by members of the U.S. military. And just a few weeks ago, our guest, Jon Stewart, hand-delivered his entire investigation to Congressman Tim Burchett's office. And he's become the first non-government civilian to submit a report to the United States Congress regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. Jon, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here on Redacted.
Like most people back in 1997, this was part of, or this was a documentary that came out. I to sit down and watch this documentary thinking alien interview. This is going to be like a weird humanoid looking person handing a clipboard over to a general at the Pentagon for a job interview. I mean, this is how my brain was thinking. And I'm sitting down, and 30 minutes into this documentary, this footage comes on. It's not professionally done. It doesn't have any cuts. There's people in the foreshadow. This gray alien is bone color, bone, like human bone. It's got round eyes, not almond shaped eyes. If I'm hoaxing a video of a gray alien, it's going to be gray and it's going to have the typical almond eyes. And this bizarre physiological monitor next to the bean that goes up and down and not across the screen. And then Victor, the alleged whistleblower who claimed to have helped smuggle this out of Area 51, 51, that's the way insiders talk of Area 51. And I don't think a 23-year-old screenwriter in 96 could have made up this script that Victor was talking about. I mean, the vernacular he used was bizarre, and he used a term called medical flagging. The creature starts to medically flag. And I asked my old doctor, who was about 65 years old at the time in 97, on my annual checkup. I said, "What is medically flagging?" He looked at me. He goes, "Where did you hear that from? That's like a army medical term we used in the 50s and 60s." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what is going on here?" And then there was some weird an acronym on the bottom, DNI, David November Igloo /27. And Victor tells us that was the Department of Naval Intelligence. So I run for Congress 2 years later with this film in the back of my mind going, what is going on here?
This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, Jon?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray, designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings and still do as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard. I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, but that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s.
I could be wrong, but this video does look realistic, and it just shows that we're in a new age where videos like this can get released. But I was completely shocked to hear this being had medical issues. I thought multi-dimension creatures were immortal.
Somebody discovered a puddle underneath the ocean, yo. Just when you thought you knew it all, right? And I know y'all remember the old person that was telling us back in the day, like, they went inside of the ocean and they basically couldn't descend under it because it was like another ocean underneath the ocean that was so like dense that he couldn't do it, right? This is real, yo. This is how you know that there's a separate realm underneath. Look at that. As above, so below.
I'm not sure if it's the lighting or the camera resolution, but that looked like mud water. But I'm curious if going through that area takes it to a different level in the ocean. That would be sick.
Discovery in Antarctica, researchers find new life under an ice shelf, and the discovery was an accident. Dave, both sides pro, is here to explain all of this for us. This is a strange one, huh?
This is a strange one, but when you find out what these scientists did and what these folks do just to learn stuff, it's amazing. So it was a 5-hour flight, right, from their closest station that they had, and they camped out. They were intense for a few months. They ate dehydrated food. All they were trying to do was to find the history of this ice shelf that they were on, which is thousands and thousands of miles and a half-mile deep. So here's what they did. They had to bore a hole, and what they did was they took 20 tons of snow and they melted it. They had to create 20,000 liters of hot water because they had to dig through this ice. So then they pumped it through a pipe which lowers down into this borehole. It took them 20 hours to melt through the ice. And they kept doing this over and over and over again to try to collect sediment from the bottom, and that's what they wanted to do. But here's the problem. They kept coming up empty. One time they actually went down and their camera bumped this object. Okay, this dark thing turns out to be a rock, which you see there, where the camera hits it. So the camera rights itself, and then it reveals life on the rock. They weren't even looking for this. And the actual scientist was like, hey, I'm not even a biologist. I had no idea what this was. But they found a layer of bacteria called a microbial mat, Russell. And they found little sponges as well on this rock. And they were just dumbfounded. Because how could this survive? It's 160 miles away from an open ocean where it could achieve any light at all. Again, it's thousands of feet down. It's probably 4,500 to 5,000 feet down, yet there was life. So what they're thinking is that maybe the currents underneath this ice shelf are bringing in old decayed marine animals and allowing them to grab those on the way through. They didn't find any fish, but this does indeed call for further study. I mean, just an amazing thing that they happened, a 1 in a million chance to bump into this rock. and find life. And now they've only measured about a tennis court's full, of work in something that's thousands of miles wide.
I'm way better off being on my couch with popcorn handy looking at new discoveries from Antarctica than going there on a scavenger hunt. But I'm kind of curious how they're able to bore a hole half a mile deep. At this point, I'm convinced that rockets have been thrown in the sky to create that impact just for exhibition, because I don't think we can ever break that firmament. It looks pretty and all, but all you need to remember is its name, Man-O-War. That thing probably plays no games.
We look at their rockets. This is how they claim they get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, it reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that.
The only thing that's been to space is your imagination.
They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oblate spheroid. Oh, what's that? Well, it's a sphere that's flattened at both poles, so it's more of an oval shape. It actually bulges out south of the equator, as well as being flattened at the poles. So it's more pear-shaped.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
So now it's pear-shaped. So why are all of these official NASA photos and videos showing perfect spheres when it's actually an oblate spheroid or a pear-shaped spheroid?
Hearing the theory that the Earth is shaped like a pear is news to me. I guess the next conclusion would be the shape of a Domino's pizza box.
This is going to be really hard for me to talk about, so bear with me. It's finna get dark in here. We are going to talk about the dark history on why jails were created. In 1863, African American slaves were freed. They thought things were great, but they really just got backstabbed. Now, as you know, in 1861 and 1865, the American Civil War happened. During the Civil War, roughly 179,000 black men fought in the Civil War. They fought in the war because they thought America would look out for them, which ultimately made them worry, because now how do we keep these people in control? The government needed a way to create peace, to keep the white people happy, but also take care of the African American citizens that just got freed. Before the 1890s, where they started the Prison Act, jails and prisons tend to look like houses. Some like this. After the American Civil War, the number of U.S. penitentiaries in the South and West spiked. So, who y'all finna put in there?
Prison is one of the biggest businesses, if not the biggest business in America, and that might be the same globally.
Whatever layer this is way the heck up there. Now, this is what I'm seeing from, like, person-sized perspectives. Wow. I can't tell if there's another layer up here. I feel like I'm close to it. I'm gonna keep climbing. Well, whatever layer this is way the heck up there. Doesn't look any closer. I don't really want to be like right below it either, so this is about as high as I want to go. Oh my gosh, this is one of the most beautiful things in the world. Holy heck.
If you can think of the highest mountain in the world, that might be the top of it. It's definitely not unusual to have a bed of clouds at that elevation.
Watch carefully. While exploring a remote sea area, divers discovered a shocking sight. From a distance, it wasn't ordinary equipment, but a large, rounded object with characters on its front. However, the divers couldn't find any useful information from these characters. How could such a strange and massive object exist in a sea far from human activity? The divers were curious, wondering if it was a human-made structure that had accidentally sunk or something originally placed on the seabed. Judging by the marine growth, the object had been resting on the ocean floor for a long time. To understand the situation, the divers decided to get closer. As they approached, they found the hatch open, revealing a steel structure inside. To their amazement, the interior space was enormous. The divers swam back and forth inside for about 10 minutes, finding only intact steel structures and no other clues. The complex interior design made them lose their way several times. This discovery left them wondering, what exactly is this thing?
That looked like an old crusty oil rig. A shark could have been easily playing hide and go seek in that vessel. Hopefully this was a quick scuba diving trip because Gustave the Giant might have been around the corner. But I wonder if this helmet was towed away to a government facility or what became of it.
Have made a groundbreaking discovery deep in a cave in South Africa, the bones of what looked to be a new human-like species. They're thought to be more than 3 million years old, and officials say the find could change the way we think about our ancient relatives.
Modern forensic techniques are revealing the surprising answer because some of the people who came here never left.
Science is full of surprises, right? I mean, who wouldn't be fascinated by the mysteries of our planet? So, from a newly discovered humanoid species in a cave in South Africa to a 3.2 million year old human relative found in Ethiopia.
No, there are 300 to 400 burials in the general region.
Stick around, as today we're diving into the mind-boggling discovery of a new human species living underground that's terrifying scientists everywhere.
The largest pyramid in Teotihuacan hides a surprising secret.
1. A brand new humanoid species is discovered in a cave. Diving into a cave might sound like an adventure reserved for the movies, but for paleoanthropologists, it's just another day at the office. Deep within South Africa's Rising Star cave system, a fascinating find is shaking up what we thought we knew about our ancient relatives. This isn't just any discovery. It's about Homo naledi, a fascinating species that's part human, part something else entirely. In 2015, this cave first hit the headlines with its trove of H. naledi fossils. Fast forward to 4 years later, and the wonders of the Dinaledi chamber continue to unravel. Lee Berger, a name synonymous with groundbreaking paleoanthropology, dropped a bombshell on September 13, 2017. His team unearthed new skeletons that could very well rewrite parts of our human story. These remains were snugly located at the base of the chute, a narrow vertical drop that modern explorers shimmy down. A heart-stopping 40 feet in a gap, just 7.5 inches wide. What makes H. naledi so intriguing? They're like a puzzle pieced together with bits of both ancient and modern. Imagine a creature with human-like feet perfect for striding across the plains, yet shoulders and a torso that screams tree climber like some of our oldest ape ancestors. This odd mix hints that they could have navigated through challenging terrains, perhaps even maneuvering down into the cave themselves. This notion spins an exciting yarn about these beings possibly having a tradition of mortuary practices, much like the Neanderthals. Were they using this secluded chamber as a final resting place for their dead? This behavior points to a social complexity that's quite unexpected, especially considering their small-brained profile compared to other hominins. Adding more layers to this mystery, on September 26, 2017, the site revealed even more with findings of teeth, skull fragments, hand bones, and part of a rib cage, likely belonging to a single individual. These pieces of the past are still waiting for their stories to be dated precisely, potentially placing them between 236,000 and 335,000 years old. Every fossil pulled from that debris cone not only provides a glimpse into the life of H. naledi, but also cements the Rising Star Cave as a cornerstone of paleoanthropological research. With ongoing studies, who knows what other secrets are buried within those ancient rocks? That being said, this is just a stepping stone to discovering more about the human species.
These were probably the culprits responsible for building all those pyramids.
Did it, boys? For King Arthur! It's one of the greatest things I ever found, but it's brought me so much bad luck. Yeah! Sword in the stone, baby! And there she lies, for another 1,000 years. Sword in the stone, mission complete. Look at this bad boy. Look at this bad boy.
the end of the sword. I say we do not speak of the sword again. It stays here and remains here for future explorers to document and find. But I will warn you, do not take it. A curse comes with the sword.
Exactly. We're leaving the sword here. That's amazing. I wasn't here for the first time, but coming here for the second time and seeing this sword, it feels legit real. It could have been back in the day. I have no idea about it. This whole day has been incredible. I can't believe we did this whole journey of getting here. Worth exploring with fighters, by the way, too. Damn, look at everyone else, too, on this side. They're creeping down there. Yeah, we placed the sword over here. This thing is so corroded. Gotta watch out. I don't want to cut myself. I'm just exploring, just seeing everything. I don't know any other explorers or people who have actually came to here, like actually to the other side. I don't think anyone's crazy enough to even do it. Jeez. And like I said, this is a mystery. No one knows why these cars were placed here. No one, literally no one knows. And some of them are really new, and some of them to this day, if they were mint, they would have been worth 50,000 pounds. They're rare, some of them. That's the car we were just standing on. But in here, we just noticed that there's actually more freaking cars. Look at down there. Oh my God. There's two of them. I didn't see that one either. There's more. There's more?
You might mess around and get an engine that has less than 10,000 miles on it. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for kicking it with me. But before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video as well, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.